So I heard you guys chatting. I figured you guys came to a consensus of what you wanted to talk about, right?
Well, first I'd like to hear your side of why you think it's motionless.
Okay. Can you feel us moving?
Not at all.
I can't either, right? I'll get that out of your face, but... yeah, I can't either. Okay, so...
But what about the seasons?
What about them?
How would there be seasons if the Earth didn't rotate?
Have you ever seen the Earth rotate?
From satellites, yes.
Okay, so you're taking like a medium or a third party to see the quote Earth rotate.
Quote Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just follow along, right? We're having a conversation, right?
Sure.
We're not going to agree. You're not going to convince me, and I'm not going to convince you.
So then, what's the point of the conversation?
To enlighten, educate,
I agree.
and just
I think
offer
conversation
information.
Is a strong part of our,
Yeah.
society.
I mean,
So why
yeah.
doesn't it say motionless conversation and not change my mind?
What's that?
It says motionless.
Yeah.
Change my mind.
Yeah, it says motionless. So the Earth is motionless.
But if you didn't want us to change your mind, you should have said, don't change my mind.
Well, I mean, if you want to present information that could possibly change my opinion when I go home, because it's not going to happen today, right?
What could change your mind? You seeing the Earth rotate yourself?
That would help, yeah. Is there a device that has ever been produced that could measure the Earth's rotation separate from the ether?
Nope.
Maybe. Say you have
not.
a drone.
Even your prophet Einstein says that that's impossible to differentiate between the ground moving and the ether, which would mean to most people atmosphere.
What about if you say you take a drone and you hover it in the same position? Eventually, the drone is going to move because we moved.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, but you wouldn't see it move because it's
helicopter? So you're saying, like, why don't we...
It's still moving in Earth's atmosphere, so it's moving at the same exact speed as you.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so let me get back to his point, right? So why don't we just invent really, really good helicopters and hover a couple miles up and just wait for, Los Angeles to rotate over to us?
Well, I think you got to be 64 miles before you hit the atmosphere.
Hey,
How do you? I have a
62
question
miles.
though. What do
Yeah,
you think about the clouds and the way they shift throughout the atmosphere? Like, what
That
do you?
is a good point.
Okay.
That would be one of my points. Like, obvious ones that it's very tricky.
Sure.
What do you say on that?
Yeah.
Because you could even see them moving with your eyes.
What
like an energy.
what generally causes wind? Do you happen to know?
Trees.
the moon.
The oceans.
I don't know.
I would say there's definitely currents, there's tectonic plates that move and can generate force that is always going.
I'm not
because of
asking about that.
generation.
I'm asking what causes the wind, not the ground and tectonic
I
plates.
mean, a good way to cause wind would prove, like a good sense of proof that the Earth is rotating.
That's not correct, though. But
what is the way the wind moves?
yeah,
from your
usually the
perspective?
sun actually helps quite a bit with the sun, with the wind. Because when you wake
It's
up,
changing like the air molecules,
Yeah.
force of the, like a tornado, but on a lower level.
Sure. I also, one thing that you might, if you go onto my YouTube channel here, I got some cards and some DVDs and information that I'd love to hand you. But you'll find that I'm just not like your typical, quote, flat earther. I would say that the wind is also caused by our thoughts. Okay? Are you familiar with like thoughts?
Like
Thoughts?
And co-creator and consciousness and stuff like that?
Sure.
Okay. Have you ever
Most of
done
us have
like
it.
the rice experiment?
No.
Okay.
What do you
It's putting 3 mason jars in one room, and one room. One room, the mason jar filled with rice has love. Another one has hate, and the other one has neutral.
How do you build a
Okay.
jar with love and hate and neutral?
Could you just kind of go along with me here?
Sure.
Okay. So you're writing the word love on that mason jar, and then you're writing the word hate on that mason jar, and then you're writing the word neutral on that mason jar. Okay? So the word love, I'm going to love it and talk nice to it and treat it with respect and whatever. And the other one that says hate, I'm going to call it names, have anger. If I had a bad day, I'll put out my frustration on that. And then the one that's neutral, I'll just come into the room, maybe check my phone, and then maybe say hi to the rice, and then I'll walk away. And you do this over a 60-day period, and what happens is the rice with love still looks like it's probably edible. The one with hate has mold, black. It does not look at all appetizing. And the neutral one is, you could probably rinse it off, and you could, probably have it if it was like Armageddon or something like that. But this is America, so we'll just dump it, right?
Yeah.
We'll just get more. So with that being said, your thoughts and your intent onto how you project yourself onto other people matters. And so what if it's always windy here in Minnesota because everybody's thoughts are just scattered and they're worried and always in fear and worry and everything?
Well, Minnesota nice has its own like tensions too. I live on California now, and there's a difference in Minnesota and California. Busy place, everyone's one-upping each other, like fuck you, fuck this.
Yeah.
Minnesota, there's a general consensus of like family, comfort, niceness, lounging. Like, so,
Sure.
I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah,
What about,
sure.
like
So-
in Antarctica where there's like hell of wind. No
Have you been there before?
No. But,
Okay.
What's funny though is San Francisco has heavy winds, brutalized and everything.
It's awesome.
And that if they're angry, and that would be interesting to think about. I don't
I
believe
mean,
you, but it's something
yeah.
to think about. I mean, it's,
And that's where, you know, my thoughts usually go, is just to kind of help people understand that the majority of what they quote believe on the news and through our education is given to us by the government. And so if you choose to believe the government, you're no different than a person going to seminary school and learning about the Bible, believing a man can walk on water, and then you're taking faith on that information, right?
yeah, and I'm
So
an
you're-
absolute non-believer in that.
That's
shit.
fine.
But you're taking faith on like years of scientific research and stuff like that. Like,
Okay.
it's not just the government who's doing
It's
that
not?
kind of stuff. No, there are
not?
scientists that are not. They're not government.
Okay.
Right.
Could they just
They
be
don't work
being
for the
taught
government.
what they're taught and they're not really investigating what the previous people taught them? So then we're just kind of regurgitating
No, 'cause you
100-year-old
get, like,
philosophies?
this- right, but the old philosophies have been like, yeah, this dude's right, and then you come along and prove him wrong. So
Yeah.
like, obviously everyone's not
Okay.
just taking the same thing.
So how do the 7 of us prove the government right or wrong, right, to land on the moon? Because the scientific method would say that to know something is for sure and confirmed, we should be able to do it and then share that information with everybody else, and then those people can do it, and then we can all have a consensus and say, yes, that's a real thing that we can physically do. But to appease to 12 prophets who landed on the moon, and then they come back with a story, you're believing them and their testimony, just like a person would believe the 12 prophets who followed Jesus around.
Well, what about the new companies that are going to the moon?
Okay, they're also government funded, so that's something to think about.
Elon Musk?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
It's government.
So it's
Thought
just
I
something
had
to
you
think
there.
about.
Okay,
No, I don't. It's not about one-upping somebody. It's just like I have been doing this for a while, and this might just be new to you. You know. So
Wait, so your cards say flat Earth on them?
yeah, you can have one.
So,
What-
but you
what-
have so do you think the Earth is flat? Or
I
do you
know that
think
the
it's-
Earth is a level, non-rotating
Is
plane.
there? Where's the? Have you been to the
Okay.
drop-off?
Have you heard of the cruise that they're taking to go to the ice wall? Do you believe in the ice wall, or do you just believe in a?
Okay, so what they're actually doing is they're just going on a cruise. Okay, and news media found out that it's a flat Earth convention that's going on a cruise ship, and then they roll with that, and then they said that they're going to go explore the edge. So it's actually news media propagating something that's not true.
What is the edge? Have you been to the edge?
What edge are you talking about?
If the Earth is flat, it has an
Yeah.
end.
It does?
There is a
Where does it
maximum capacity of this Earth.
Who said?
Well, how would it be? You think it's just a
There
flat,
are lone
continuous plane?
people. Not everyone is working for the government.
Who said that the Earth has been measured?
I mean, look at your globe, man. I mean, that is what.
That's your globe. That's not
what we
mine.
tell-
Well, you probably
Where's-
should-
where's the
probably
flat
your-
Earth
it's
globe?
just
Okay,
fact
so
or
can I-
whatever.
Where's the flat Earth map?
Okay, can I share an idea with you? What most people do is they look into flat Earth and they get like the first 3 pages on YouTube are all government information. There's no neutral or unbiased opinion about flat Earth on YouTube or Google. Okay, you have to really search for it, and I can offer you information to help that search. But what a lot of people do is they associate flat Earth with a disc or a frisbee floating in outer space, and they just replace it. Right? To me, the Earth goes on infinitely forever and ever and ever and ever.
So how do you think the
And-
universe works out in that?
Okay, we are the floor of the universe, and all the luminaries above us rotate around us because we are everything.
So it's geocentric.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
saying
fair
there's
enough.
an absolute bottom to the universe, and that's us.
Yeah, we are the floor of the universe, and
so-
it goes on infinitely forever.
If you just kept digging
Yeah,
and
if
digging
you
and
dug
digging,
down,
what
would
would
it
you
go on
reach?
forever?
How far have human beings happened to have dug? Do you happen to know?
It's too hot.
Do you
But-
know?
Okay, 8 miles.
Theoretically.
Okay.
Okay, in Russia,
Yeah.
they did it. It's called a borehole, and they did it about 8 miles. Shout out to Eminem. And what happens is the drill bit ends up getting like so hot that they can't drill any further. So you could equate that to, well, it's hot because of the magma and such. Or you could look at it from another idea that it is literally hell below us, and there are people that we'll end up there. That's
believe
another
in
idea.
God?
You know, so one thing that people do with flat Earth is they associate a belief in like Christianity or the Bible with flat Earth. And I didn't know that a non-rotating plane was mentioned in the Bible until months after that I knew that water lays level and flat.
Then how come you can't see on forever if you look out into the ocean?
Yeah, so what happens with that is that's water temperature, air temperature, the time of day, and the water vapor that's in the air. So late in the day when the sun has been beating down on the water, it evaporates and it's going to create a water vapor. And over a distance, that water vapor is compounding onto itself. And so that's why it appears that ships are going over the horizon in the curvature of the Earth. But if you were to do that same observation earlier in the day, like at 6 or 7 o'clock, when the water in the morning, when the water has been able to cool off overnight, you will see further.
Okay, so then how does the sun work if you think that we are the base of the solars or the universe or whatever?
Yeah,
It can't go underneath us then.
of course not.
So
Yeah.
you think it just goes like this
Yeah.
up in the sky, but then
It's-
we would always
See
be
on
light.
this card here,
It's an idea. It's an idea. So this right here is a flat Earth map projection. So this is that. So they turned this into this. It's not the other way around. So what happens is either the sun is doing a circuit around the Earth like this with the relationship with the North Pole, and it's doing one of these, and then as it becomes winter, it becomes further out in the circumference. And now that it's summer, it's directly over us, so it's closer to the North Pole. Now either it does that, or else it vortexes up, and then it vortexes down. And that's another idea.
Is there anything to back that up, or is that just a...
Those are observations that anybody can make themselves.
Okay.
It's a
So
presupposition that the sun is 93 million miles away.
do you think that the stars move, like, according to the sun, or how do you, like, how do you explain, like, so if the Earth was stationary, right, the sun would have to rotate itself around the Earth, and do you think that the stars rotate the same way, or how do you see, like, constellations differently at different times of the year, like?
Yeah, so the luminaries in the sky have a relationship with the Polaris, the North Pole, right? Okay? So let's say Polaris is here. And we've all heard, most of the people that want to try to quote debunk flat Earth is they'll say, well, I can see the southern celestial pole in the southern hemisphere, right? So what if right here is the Polaris, okay? And the people in the southern hemisphere just can't see far enough or see the Polaris because of their perspective where they're at, but they see another star here. So if we were just to traverse down south like this, maybe a week's travel or a month's travel, we would have then the southern celestial pole above us, which then when we move would then be to us the North Pole. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay,
but
so I'm getting to your point. I'm trying to lead your thought, okay? We're walking down the road here, okay? And so with the Polaris, the constellations are always the same over the last couple thousand years. They've been documented to have never changed. And so you can watch a time lapse of people who have taken the Polaris and then it just circles around and it's a perfect circle. At no time has there ever been observational parallax.
So do you think that the sun moves at, like, a different scale than the stars do?
Possibly. Yeah, it's something to think about. You know.
So you agree that every morning the sun rises in the east.
The sun is never below you.
The sun starts east and it moves westward.
Yeah, right. So this plane, right? If the plane was to continue to travel that way in that direction and you knew that there was not an airport over there, does the plane all of a sudden, do you think in your mind the plane goes underneath the Earth? Is that what's happening?
Gravity.
I'm
If
talking to
you-
him, okay? Can I ask him, please? Hold on.
Yes, I do.
Okay, you think that? Okay, that's fine. But what if the sun, like the plane, is just traveling further away from your perspective and it's never actually below you?
But if every morning it starts in the same
Correct.
place and goes to the same place, and you can't go under the Earth because that's the bottom of the universe, how would it get back to where it started?
Yep, just like I was saying earlier, it just circuits around. Have you ever seen a flat Earth projection before? It's totally hypothetical, but if we were just to maybe take, just for argument's sake, what the America looks like, for example, all of us could probably draw America with our eyes closed, right? I mean, that's how, so we have to find some kind of common ground where we can at least agree to continue the conversation. But again, the sun is just doing this and it's traveling further away from your perspective. And you have a circle of sight. right? All of us human beings have a circle of sight. If we're facing south, the sun will always come from here and go like this, right? So it will always do that. And during the summertime, the sun will be almost directly above us in like a month, right? But then in January or December, it's almost all the way down here. So again, that's what it's doing. It's possibly doing a circuit around the Earth.
So I was in a plane yesterday, and I can see the curvature of the Earth.
Okay,
So
yeah,
how
fair
do you
enough.
explain that?
Yeah. Do you happen to know the ball Earth calculations?
No.
Okay, to have a ball Earth, you have to have circumference, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the governments, just for argument's sake, have measured your ball Earth before?
Yes.
From the equator around? Do you happen to know the circumference? Do you know the radius?
No.
Do you know the Earth from the sun?
What do you mean?
You just said 97 million?
93. Yeah.
93?
Moon from the Earth?
That's a lot closer. Million?
Yeah, let's say 240,000 miles. Okay, so with your ball Earth, we should be able to come up with some kind of an equation where we can find out what the curvature of the Earth is, because to have a sphere, you must have curvature, correct? Okay, so if you get to a point where you're high enough, you will never, ever, ever, no offense, with the math that is provided, ever see curvature, unless you're at least 2,000 miles from the surface of this ball Earth, and then you'll just see a disc like this, like the images that you get from NASA. So this is roughly 2,500 miles or so. So you have to understand what the dimensions of this is to understand, like, hey, you know, I see curvature.
How do you
see
this
this
doesn't look
picture?
like this?
How
Yeah,
come
yeah.
you can't see the whole Earth then if you go so far out? How come you can't see America, and then how come you can't see Africa?
Okay, I don't know what you're saying.
Like
So
why
you're
doesn't
saying-
this image look like this?
Yeah, because what this is a composite. This is not, legally they have to call this an image because it's not a real photograph. Like I was to take a photograph of y'all in front of me, okay? So what they're doing is they're taking high altitude planes or drones and they're scanning a flat plane, and then they're putting it into a composite and they're making it look all pretty, put a hot spot right here, and then they say that that's where you live.
Can I ask you one thing?
So yeah, go for it, man.
I'm wondering, what is the point of this supposed conspiracy that the Earth is a sphere?
Well, that's up to you to get to.
No, you're the person who's saying that it is a conspiracy and a lie.
I didn't say anything about a conspiracy.
It's not true.
Okay, it's not true?
It's not factual,
Okay,
in your opinion, that the Earth is a sphere.
okay. So it's a
No, am I correct in
It's
saying that?
well, let me just say it's a conspiracy because I don't follow along with government mainstream
I thought you
science.
said it's not a conspiracy.
Well, you called it one, so I'm just using your vernacular.
I'm not calling it anything.
Okay.
I'm using the language of the flat Earth movement.
Oh, okay. Isn't that kind of weird to call the flat Earth movement a movement when the Earth isn't moving? Isn't that kind of ironic?
I mean, I guess from a flat earther's perspective it is, but from my perspective...
Have you ever heard of neuro-linguistic
language.
programming?
Movement is a thing.
Do you know what neuro-linguistic programming
Do you know
is?
what neuroplasticity is?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you know what
So-
neuroplasticity is?
So with what you were saying
Do you know what
before,
negative plasticity is?
okay, so
Do you know
so
what neural imprinting is?
are you ready to talk or?
I mean, you asked me a question and I answered
Yeah.
you, and then I asked you a question back and
Yeah.
you ignored
I
me.
just-
and then you acted like I was dodging you.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
these
weird.
these folks here are ready to at least listen to me,
Right.
and I know your
Because I'm
spirit.
old and they're young.
No, because I know your
You
spirit.
can fuck
I
their
understand.
minds up with
No, I don't.
bullshit.
I'm actually offering them information. I would expect
You're
you.
offering them hypotheses.
Oh, yeah.
You very correctly said
Could
it's
we just get-
hypothetical to set up what you were about to say about some point about flat Earth. Hypothetical is so accurate. So accurate.
Interesting hand signals.
Yeah.
So with what you were saying before,
Interesting. Oh, interesting.
what
Yes,
you were
it's all-
saying is I don't know their motive because I'm not them. You know, so if I was to have all of us go and do a murder investigation or something like that, we would want to gather evidence first, and then from that evidence we could probably determine a motive,
So
right?
you're saying that everybody else on Earth besides the flat earthers has all been working to like develop science and like get an image of our Earth, and you have no explanation for possibly why that they're doing that, contrary to your beliefs?
I can give you opinions, but it's
Sure, what's
what
your
do you
opinion?
think? More land. So with a ball Earth, there's only so much surface area that you can have, right? So what if the Earth goes on infinitely forever and there's more land that they're withholding from us and more water and resources?
But then how
Who's there in that equation?
So you asked me, but then you laugh at my answer.
Well,
right?
I was laughing at him.
I know you were, because that's what he's here to do, is disrupt.
No, I
So-
genuinely want to know what your foundation of your reasoning.
My foundation is level, non-rotating. That's what it is.
But say I get in my dinghy.
Sure, yeah, man.
Actually, not my dinghy.
Yeah.
A bigger boat.
Let's get a nice boat.
Okay.
Yeah, like a couple $1 million.
All right,
Yeah,
I get in my yacht.
yeah, let's do it.
I
Okay.
do have the flat Earth on my shoulder.
You got a globe Earth on your. Oh man, that's a shame.
Well, technically, it could be.
I mean, what if you become
It's a little hot.
Yeah.
It's like a pocket.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey,
say-
fair enough, man. No offense.
say I
I'm
get-
not dogging you.
Say I get in my yacht.
Yeah, let's do it. All of us get in your yacht.
Okay,
Can
we're
we
all in
get,
my yacht.
Can we all get in your yacht?
I think we got enough.
Okay,
space.
right on, man.
Enough food, enough water, enough resources to go. Let's say 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. And we head off in the ocean, and we go straight. We go on the compass, and we just follow north.
The opposite of north, because we want to go south. Because do you want to go to? I want to go to the North Pole personally.
Okay. We go south.
Yeah, let's
We
go south. Yeah.
Let's say we start right there, and we just keep going that way.
Yep.
Eventually, we're gonna come up right there.
How do you know that?
Well, they've done it.
No, nobody has done north to south navigation. It's always
mean?
been east to west.
You
So-
don't think boats have sailed from North Pole to the South Pole?
That's
It's not
the
that I
same
don't.
thing,
no,
though,
no.
if you're
It's
going
not that I
north,
don't.
south, or
It's
east
not
or
that I don't
west.
think. It's that it hasn't been documented. Anybody going north to south.
Okay, so if we got in my boat, my yacht, for 6 months and we just traveled south,
Yep.
what's gonna happen?
You're gonna keep going over here.
All right, so what's over here?
So let's do it. Why don't we?
Yeah, why don't we
get
Okay.
funded?
So
by
you
the
take. You have
flat
my card.
earthers.
You have my
Got your
card.
card.
Email me when you have your resources together. Okay.
Well, what are you putting forth?
I'm here. I got to get an
I'm not
army.
taking you,
I
that's
have to
for
get an.
sure.
I have to get an army first, because all of you still don't. You're still not with me.
Well,
So-
okay. So say I did
That's
that by
correct.
myself.
At least have like a neutral opinion.
Say
at
I
least,
did that by myself, and I sailed, and I sailed this way, and
Yep.
eventually came here, and then documented that to you. You'd be like this. Didn't happen.
Well,
Yeah,
I would,
I
It
I
didn't
would,
happen.
like, what-
See, the
what
picture,
you would
the
prove
pictures
that
that you
it's
took
not-
are not actually pictures. They're actually composites
Yeah.
that you put on your phone. That
Okay, I understand I understand you're puffing
they
your
have-
peacock feathers out a little bit, but just hold on, okay? Because we have to verify what you do, right? And if we can't verify it, then yes, I'll say I don't know if that happens.
So
Why is that so wrong for me to say I don't know if that happens? Like I don't understand why that's so offensive.
It's all good, man.
Fake news.
Can I? So you're saying that if you like when they. So how are you saying that they got these? They go up there in a drone?
60 to 90,000 feet
In a drone
in an airplane
In
or
an
a drone.
airplane.
Did you know that that's how Google Earth was made?
by satellites.
No, by airplanes. And you can Google like
Airplanes cannot go this far out.
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying, my
question.
friend. Yep.
Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what my question
Have a
is
nice
gonna
day.
No,
Bye.
I mean,
No,
okay.
what's your point?
So-
what's your point in proving this?
I'm not proving anything, my friend. I'm just here to share information, and then if you want to take it for what it's worth, like I have some information here,
Yeah,
and
but
you can
why-
take it.
But tomorrow, the
Behind you, there's a body of water, right? Could we agree that it's contained in a lake?
No, I'm just saying. Is that your
it
your
is.
take?
Can you
sign
follow
is
my
different.
logic?
I'm just saying you believe the Earth is flat.
Could you follow my thought, please? Just for
asking your question.
just for 30
Just asking you a
seconds.
question. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
Could you follow my thought
Answer
for 30
one
seconds?
straight question and we'll follow
Do
you.
you
Yeah,
believe the
okay.
Earth is flat?
I know the Earth is a non-rotating, level, motionless plane.
Do you believe the Earth is flat?
Flat is a description,
like
so something can be. I just it's a description, man.
Nice
So-
That's
talking
always
to you.
what you're saying. You're saying there's you're giving your expression.
Yeah. So thanks for disrupting and causing young minds to leave. I appreciate it.
Thank you, because I think they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
douchebag.
Thanks, trolls.
Change my mind? Bullshit. You don't got an open mind.
Hey everybody, well there it is. Disruptors, young minds. usually don't mix. So I'm really kind of disappointed about that. That kind of makes me really upset that people would come by and disrupt like that.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? How are you?
Fine.
My name's Anthony.
Hey, Joshua.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Joshua. Do you know a guy named Diego Juarez? I think he might have spoken to you before.
I talked to a lot of guys, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while.
Oh, cool. So, what are you doing? I appreciate you kind of coming and taking time out of your day to come and talk about this.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's kind of interesting. If I was out here promoting transsexuals and homosexual agenda, that would be okay, but I'm not, and I get made fun of.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, dude. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
You know, it sucks that we have to express our ideas under kind of like a filter for people, you know?
Yeah, I think, it's really just one of those things where you go online and you fall into an echo chamber, right? You find like-minded people, but a lot of those echo chambers are actually run by the government. And they get people who are like-minded to go on to a tangent about something that might not even be real, you know? Like with 9/11, almost within the first couple of months, there were like 10 conspiracies about 9/11. These came from the people who did it in the first place, you know, so they can control the narrative. And so when I hear people, you know, say, well, it's a disc, you know, floating in outer space,
Right.
that came from the government, because they're just replacing this with a disc so that then outer space can still be real.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so if I was to say to somebody that the earth goes on infinitely forever and ever and ever, and we're co-creators in this reality. You ever played No Man's Sky before?
Haven't played it. Actually, I have.
Heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that it runs on fractals? Kind of like Minecraft?
No.
Yeah. So what it's doing is as you progress through the game, it's continually generating the imagery that you see in front of you. And the game's only like 14 or 15 gigs. But they say that it could take like 500 billion years for you to explore the entire universe of No Man's Sky because of the fractal technology that they're using.
Sure.
So, but in that reality, you can play it in virtual reality. And what it's doing is using a medium, which is virtual reality or electronics, to co-create your reality in front of you. But when you stand out here, right, we don't have that ability, right, to travel and do that. My point is that if the earth were infinite and it went on forever over a body of water, if all of us had a strong faith belief that the earth is infinite, could we co-create land in front of us with our creator?
Well, I think you're kind of right in the sense that like we are co-creating our reality. I mean, I'm speaking to you right now and I'm using my willpower to talk to you and use words and translate those words into sentences and then paragraphs, and then, you know, you gain meaning from that, right? I guess my question is like, well, I kind of see where you're coming from. Like I said, I appreciate you sitting out here and talking and stuff. Like I like to talk about this stuff as well. I have a podcast and a website with my buddy.
Okay, yeah, you want to shout out?
Yeah, of course.
You have
it's
a card?
Based Earth. No, I don't have a card or anything.
Okay.
I'm like butt naked right now. I have
Yeah, you're good.
literally this
So what is it called?
It's called basedearth.com, and we talk about, I mean, similar stuff to this, but just like mainly expressing information and stuff like that. Again, I don't really know anything, but I'm trying to grow and learn and stuff like that, which I think you are too by doing this kind of experiment, right?
Yeah.
And I guess
you mind if I ask how old you are?
20.
20? Okay, I was 20 once. Yeah. I'm 38 now. I learned and believed everything that you learned and believed in school. And when I came across Flat Earth about 4 years ago, it totally changed my mind. And it really made me doubt the source of the information I was getting.
Right.
And so if you're in a relationship and you come to find out that, you know, hey, the relationship is going really, really well, right? Like really well. And you're in it for like 2 years and you're really close to like probably proposing to this person, right? But then you found out that they were cheating on you.
Right.
Would you talk to them about it? Or would you just carry on because the relationship is so good?
Of course, I would definitely talk to them. It's my, I think, moral obligation, if anything, to have a conversation with that human being that's affecting me negatively, because then they can grow and learn from my words, and we can both, not only them, but myself, you know, can grow and learn, and I think like that matters.
So with that being said, if I have that same conviction that I was lied to, now I want to come out and tell everybody about it, that we're being lied to. And if a person can't see that they're being cheated on, then they're really in love with that source of information, right?
I would stick to that, man, because like if you're coming out and just that statement alone, it doesn't, you know, you can substitute labels for whatever topic you're talking about, but you know, that fundamental basis of like you're coming out and trying to explain things where there's a wrongdoing that's happening, right? And people should be motivated to understand what that is, then that should be like that should be the foundation from which you take action, right?
Yeah, right.
So just I think from there it depends on where you choose to act or where you choose to talk about that stuff. Like right now you're doing like this flatearth101.com and you know talking about this stuff, which is a topic, but I think what's more important is like, you know, like pointing out that there's something wrong and that people need to do something.
Is it more important to you, or you're telling me what you feel is more important?
I think it's, well, I'm telling you both.
Okay.
I feel
What
it's
if
more
this is important to me and what's important to you is different?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't base my level of passion on what somebody else feels is important,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if it is important to them, then they could set up a table right next to me, right? I mean, a lot of things could be talked about right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even, you know, the audacity of America putting up all those military bases around Iran,
Mm-hmm.
right? How dare America put all those military bases around a country that is trying to be separate from everybody else?
Right.
And so why are we getting involved in somebody else's politics?
I don't know, man.
You know, we could talk
Honestly,
about
like,
war.
We could talk about a million different things, but like I said,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all about like the fact. Like the fact that you're out here sitting down trying to talk to people about things that you think matter and that are of moral obligation to other people to understand and look through. It's like that I think that matters. And like as long as you stick to that, then you know you should be on the right path, because we're all, like you said, co-creating our universe. Like we're all here helping each other or not helping each other in one way or another. And if we aren't helping each other, and if we're not, you know, here to help each other grow, then there's a problem, and it's our moral obligation to help each other and grow, right? It just depends on which niche you get into when you're talking about topics to help people. And I think like this topic is pretty difficult to like go and talk to people about and then have them kind of walk away with a new idea. But if you continue to explain like you explained to me, that fundamental basis about how you're doing this because you were lied to or you felt you were lied to, it's like that's what's the most important, I think. So I would encourage you to keep doing that, because that's what I try to do on my website and my podcast that I do every week.
So do you talk about like outer space and stuff like that on your
We haven't
channel?
get onto that stuff, but we have no taboo topics. We're definitely super interested in that stuff. My friend is really big into the occult, esoteric stuff.
Gematria?
I'm sure he's looked into some of that. I've heard of it. I've haven't looked into it, but it's very interesting. You know, like we talk about this self-help stuff, but also spirituality and, you know, consciousness. And
Are you a vegan?
I'm not. He is though.
Okay, cool.
So
What do you think about that?
I think it's probably the right route to go down. 'Cause
Yeah. What if
from
I
what
don't
I've
want to be
seen- from
vegan?
What I've seen.
What if I don't want to be vegan? Should I be murdered and killed?
Should you what?
Should I be killed off because I'm not vegan?
No. I don't think you should be killed off because you're not vegan.
Do you think I should be killed off because I go against mainstream science and say that I don't believe them?
No, do you think you should be? Do you think most people think that you should be?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, they actually made a game.
Dude, that's unfortunate. And you should take that and seriously meditate on that, because if that's the case and that's the context that you're putting out this information, then like you might want to re-strategize how you're approaching people and approaching things. And that's just
In regards to what?
and I would
like,
say to myself,
what do you mean
too,
by that, though? Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like,
I'm not
I
saying
should stop doing what I'm doing?
No.
or
I'm just saying, like,
go about it in a different way?
I would just say, you know, well, you know what? I don't think that you aren't doing that. I think that you are, and I'm just suggesting to keep on meditating on the way that you speak to people and the way that you reach out to people and stuff.
Something that you probably don't know about me is I was born with a terminal illness called cystic fibrosis. And the median age now for life expectancy is 38.
Wow.
And I just told you I'm 38 years old, right?
Wow, that's incredible.
And a lot of people don't really come across a person with a death wish. I kind of have one. Because I've been told my whole life that I was going to die, and that's why I didn't go to school and continue to go through education and whatnot, because I felt like, what's the point? I'm going to die anyways, right? And so with that all being said, I guess I've gotten to a point now where I just don't give a rip anymore. I talk. I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel. This isn't the first time I've done this before, And I feel like I have a level of communication that most people find, I don't know, alluring or attractive,
Yeah.
you know? They might not agree with everything I have to say,
Good,
but
good.
I don't talk to people like they're idiots or
Yeah.
ignorant, because I just feel like it's just a lack of education and knowledge that's been withheld from them. And I think that if we're able to present all of the information, I really feel like each individual person has the ability to have discernment, but a lot of people also need somebody to tell them what's true and what's not, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
there is a balance that needs to be had with that, where you should still trust your own observations, but then when you do get given information from a third or second party, have discernment and don't fall into that with like, I totally believe it just because it was on mainstream news.
Right. No, I agree. And I appreciate you out here doing this. Like I said, man, I'm sorry that you're diagnosed with that, but you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
even
that's fine.
even
No
in
biggie.
spite of that, like you're
Yeah.
out here and you could be doing a lot of other things that are based in egoism and like yourself, but you're really, I mean, you're putting yourself out here to go do something that requires cooperative experience, which is, I think, really admirable.
I appreciate that.
So,
Thanks a lot. I used to love online gaming.
Oh yeah.
I have a competitive spirit. You know, I used to play online multiplayer military type games like Call of Duty and stuff, and I loved the strategy that was involved with that. But I weaned myself away from playing video games on a regular basis, and I just started being led towards other things. And so I guess in a way this is kind of how I express my competitive nature, by having mild debates at the lake with people and just talk, you know, nothing too serious. I can't change anybody's mind, but I encourage other people to, you know, come and, you know, look at the sign and say, well, if you're not here to change somebody's mind, why are you here? And it's just a provocative statement, right? It's just a way to draw people. Like yesterday or the other day I was here and I was wearing a lab coat with glasses, right? So it's just a way to draw people's attention to get into the conversation itself, where on the interwebs, nobody's looking up flat earth stuff, you know? So nobody's looking up the type of topics that would be considered conspiracy because they really trust the government. Like the Mormons, the Muslims, the Catholics, they trust their church. And what happens when Mormons kind of defect and they say John Smith and they talk about all these different things, the church will come and address that person and say, don't talk about John Smith. And it's like, why? He was a polygamist. But most of the people who are very young in the faith of Mormonism don't know anything about the underlying conspiracies within that group. And then when you talk about them things openly with other congregates, you get batted on the hand, and then you'll actually get exonerated from the church, and you'll lose family members even. And really what I've found from this, in a way, social experiment, that everybody here will bat me on the head, per se, right? And say that I'm crazy and call me a conspiracy theorist just because I'm not believing in government narrative. So really what they're believing is a church, and they're in a cult, and I don't believe them because of the government's always right to them, and they have to kind of mock me, and then they have a group of people come and talk to me and mock me, because then it's like conformity.
It's
and
easier to do it that way.
Yeah, right. It's just social conformity and, you know, numbers, right? If the majority say something, then that must be true, is what a lot of people's logic is.
Sure. That's unfortunate. Yeah, dude, that sucks, but, you know, at the end of the day, I love everybody. So, dude, I love you.
I appreciate
You're
that. I
awesome.
love you too, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You just gotta love everyone, dude. And
That's all you can do.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't change
and
it.
the thing is, if you're recording this and you're putting this out online, I hope that you often remind whoever's watching or whoever's listening, or just even yourself, that, like, you know, they're human, I'm human, and I wouldn't be able to do this if they weren't here. You know what I mean? And there would be no reason for me to do this if they weren't here and they weren't taking the choices that they were. So I need to respect those choices, but also, you know, take myself to that level where I can help change or help influence or motivate, you know, help grow and stuff like that. So if you keep reminding yourself, which is the basic reminder, then I think that definitely helps. I do that a lot because I have a podcast that I do, and I'm trying to do it more often where I say that, like, love you guys, thank you for listening, and thank you for taking the time and whatnot, and you know, I think we're all like infinite consciousness, infinite awareness, we're all able to do really, really beautiful and amazing things. And I don't think, after everything, we need to be reminded of that, if anything. You know?
Well, you just did. Thanks for sharing that. Of
course.
I'd love for you to come by my YouTube channel. It's on the bottom.
Dude.
Authentic Intent.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'll Based Earth. I don't have a pen, but we have a website.
Yeah, we got a shout out here for you.
Awesome.
So
like, yeah, podcast, and we.
Is it on iHeartRadio or something like that?
No,
or?
it's just on our website, and then it's on Spotify and SoundCloud right now. We're trying to get it on iTunes, but we're trying to do stuff like this and like go out and set up a table, like talk to people, make videos, make funny videos, just like do kind of social experiments, build a community, do community workshops, and do seminars. It's like a side project that I do in addition to school and work and stuff. So
yeah, cool. What's your name?
Anthony again.
Joshua. Yep, Joshua.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
Joshua, what's your last name?
Swift. SWIFT.
Anthony Ⴜᴜ. Nice to meet you, Joshua Swift. I think my friend did actually meet you.
Yeah, right on.
Because I think you got a shout out on my episode yesterday.
Oh, really?
We were talking. So yeah, we brought a guest on, and he was like, my buddy that's my co-host was referencing your point, or like seeing you on the lake and talking to you, and how a lot of people were like bashing you because of what you're saying. And also we had our guest who was with him, who was recounting the experience, and I think he said that your name, that last name just clicked. So
hey,
I think you got a shout out already.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
I appreciate your time, dude. It's nice meeting you.
You too, my
Good
friend.
luck, dude.
Yeah,
I love
too.
you very much.
Love
I
you
hope
too,
this
my friend.
goes well, and I hope we meet Pats again.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, when it's a day like today,
Yeah, man.
why not hang out?
Of course, dude. Please enjoy the day.
You too,
Please
man.
Enjoy, everything, dude. So, take care of yourself.
All right,
Nice
bye.
meeting you. Thanks, man.
You
See
too.
you later.
Hello, my friend.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
This piqued my interest.
Yeah, of course.
What is this about?
Oh, I'm just hanging out, just sharing some alternative thoughts with the public.
Fantastic.
What do you think about alternative thoughts that go against mainstream?
Mainstream thoughts. Oh, I don't know.
Hmm?
Am I being recorded?
It's on me right now.
Oh.
Just
well,
your voices.
I would like it on me.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I got a YouTube channel. I'd love for you to come by and check it out.
Sounds
It's
good.
Authentic Intent.
Flat Earth. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is, I've never seen the Earth round, so.
I haven't either. I know, right?
You know
I haven't
what I mean?
either.
So
Yeah.
I've never,
So how would you know?
You would never know. That's the thing.
Unless you're basing it off of somebody else's testimony, like a church
Yeah.
and a Bible.
Or anybody, until I get up in there, I'm not going to believe anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good way to be. And what things do you have faith in, if you will? Like things that you can't verify yourself, but you're like, I'm going to choose to believe that regardless of what other people think.
A lot of things. Let me just think here. Things I hopelessly believe in.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, I just don't really care. I guess I just believe what I believe in.
Okay.
What about you? Can you give me some examples here?
Well, I believe a man walked on water. I believe that at one point in our history, there was a man who lived a perfect life. And through that, he was able to, because he created this place, walk on water and heal people and so on. So I can choose to believe that.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, Because I've never seen someone not walk on water.
Right, exactly. So that's a pretty big stretch to believe that. And then I convey the idea that it's a pretty big stretch to believe you live here and you've never seen it.
Yeah, the only thing is like, I don't know if I can believe it's flat, because that's also, do I know it's flat? Do I know it's circle? I don't know either.
Which, like, if, let's say, I don't want to sound too mean or negative, but if your life was on the line and you were to have to choose the Earth as a sphere in outer space or a level, non-rotating, infinite plane that goes on forever and ever, which would you choose?
If I had to choose either one?
Yeah.
Infinite plane, I don't think I'd believe in that.
Okay.
My only question is, I've gone around the world.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Where have you gone? Do you have connecting flights you could share here?
Yeah, so I've been...
All in one flight. Show me one trip with your connecting flights and everything together.
Well, I've been here, so I went from here to
Like
Greenland.
New York? Okay.
Or I went from Chicago to Greenland to Morocco, and then Morocco to Turkey, so that's not on the map. But it would be like right
Yeah,
here.
you can't see it because of that ruler there, but yeah.
So it'd have been like this?
Well, what's the shortest way between 2 points?
It would be a straight line.
A
of
straight
course.
line, yeah. So what I challenge you with today, or whenever you feel led, just go back and look at your connecting flights and then put it on something that might look like Gleason's or an AE type of a map, just for humors,
Okay.
and then try to project it onto a sphere and see which one of the two make more sense.
I guess I can understand that. But I feel like, what if Australia is getting the short end of the stick here? So what about people that need to fly from here to here?
Yeah,
They go over the Arctic.
they do.
They go over the South Pole.
They do.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
On an Australia to who do I know? Well, I have a friend who goes from South Africa. Oh yeah, you're right. South Africa. To North America. Seems like pretty good. I just don't know. What about if you're going?
Have you ever seen this like this before? Yeah. So what if this is kind of where we live? Okay. This is where we're contained.
Yeah.
And the water, land, and everything else go on infinitely forever, but this is just where we live.
So there's more other places?
It's my idea. Prove me wrong, right?
I guess. What if you, but what about the South, what about here and here? Because there's definitely people that have gone to the South Pole.
Okay, yeah.
And then they've gone to Australia afterwards.
Okay.
So is there like a loop?
Could they have just done this?
Gone from here?
No. Here's Australia.
Yeah.
And here's this.
And then
See, what you keep... Hold on.
Yeah.
What you keep doing is this magic where you teleport from here to here.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, why are you doing that?
Well, because I'm sure
Because you think of this.
Yeah, but...
So even though when you approached, right, the first, 90 seconds, you said you don't believe necessarily that the Earth is round, but you keep associating your travel with a ball Earth.
Well, I've never traveled, so it wouldn't be my travel.
Right, but do you see what you're doing? You keep going like this south towards the Antarctic alleged circle,
Yeah.
and then you teleport over here. But we're talking about connecting flights that are like tangible that we can do.
Well, yeah, all of these can be done, but then what about the flights that go from here to here?
What about them? Have you done that before?
No.
I haven't either. Yeah. So until you buy that flight that costs $15,000 to take it, because you can book flights all day, right? If you have enough money, you could just buy up all the flights. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily taking them. It's just because you buy a flight and it's available to buy. Correct?
Well, I would never take that flight. I don't think I would.
But fair enough, right? But if we had enough money to take that flight, purchasing it doesn't prove anything, right? You actually have to take the flight and experience it. Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. So with my idea of why I'm here, because behind you, the water is contained by the shoreline, right? So what if the oceans were just giant, it was just a big giant lake and there's just more shorelines elsewhere?
Yeah, that'd be
Because
something.
isn't Australia just a really giant island? I mean, think about it. They call it a continent, but it's just really a big giant island. So what if there's more giant islands out there that aren't here on this map?
That'd be crazy.
Do they have an obligation to show you where those lands are?
No, but I'd be interested in going there.
I would too. That's why I'm here. So I'm just trying to spark the adventurer out here somewhere, and as we can continue this thought progression over the next couple of years, maybe we could get some kind of excursion to go someplace.
I've got a question for you. Do you live around here?
I do. Yeah.
You rent or own?
I rent.
Have you ever thought about owning?
I have, yeah.
If you ever want to buy or sell real estate,
Okay.
here's my card. Change.
You mind if I share it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here you go. If anybody's interested.
in buying or selling,
There he is, Oliver. Thanks, man.
Oliver Ellis.
Appreciate it.
You've
Yeah,
got a
keep the
YouTube
card.
channel. I'll see you around.
I hope so, Oliver. Have a nice afternoon.
Yeah, have a great afternoon.
Bye. All right, I'm back. And right when I flip the camera over here, somebody comes.
Hello.
Hello.
So I changed my mind and I'm intrigued.
You are? Okay, yeah. So, do you have any evidence to show me that the Earth is rotating?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Suppose I don't. Not off the top of my head, at least.
Okay. So how do you know the Earth rotates?
Most of the theories I've been taught in traditional education settings have indicated that the Earth does rotate.
Okay, so could I just change that around and say most of the evidence is provided by testimony of the Bible, a man walked on water?
No.
It's not the same?
In what way?
You're saying based on information given to you by second and third party, you believe these things to be true, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how is that any different than somebody going to seminary school and being taught the Bible, and then they believe the Bible, and then they get out and then they just believe the Bible?
Well, as a Christian, I believe that we have to seek truth in everything that we do, which means not just looking at things from biblical sources, we're looking at it from multiple sources. I don't believe that the Bible should be taken as a source of science. I believe it's a source of truth, not a source of fact. And I would
What is
believe-
truth and fact? You're separating the two? That's
I would
interesting.
separate the two. The Bible was written by people thousands of years ago, for people thousands of years ago. They have extensive laws about trading agriculture. They have extensive laws about slavery and whatnot. I believe it was the best attempt at that time to create a set of laws and codes, especially the Old Testament and the Talmud, to create a set of laws and testament codes for people of that time. I believe we need to look more at biblical principles as opposed to biblical specifics, because if we get into biblical specifics, we'll return to a slave trading society.
Okay. What does it mean to be born again?
Born again means to, I guess, accept Jesus in your life and decide to live by live a Christ-like life.
What is repentance to you?
Repentance is beyond just saying I messed up. It's saying I messed up and I'm going to take the steps to not mess up again, and to, in some cases, not all cases, it would involve rectifying your wrongs.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Are you the salt of the earth and the light of the world?
There are passages that would say that yes, I am.
Are you, though? Not using the Bible, but just like your own convictions. Would you consider?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like, I don't need a Bible to tell me that a man can walk on water, right, and died for my sins. I can take oral testimony about that, and I can
There's
choose
some
to.
Christian groups that believe that.
Well, I mean, I can choose to believe that, right? So that would mean that a person on their deathbed, right, would confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, died for their sins, and then they would go to the presence of their Father when they died, right?
Believe that. Some people do make a deathbed confession.
Right. So are they saved then?
Truth is, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I believe that's a question for God. I believe it's our understanding, at least in the Judeo-Christian world, is a God that's beyond our understanding of time and space. There are some questions that I will never know the answer to. I'm not providing the divine judgment. In fact, these are questions I've wrestled with myself. I've heard arguments from Christian universalists that say everyone gets saved. I've heard arguments.
Calm down.
I have severe ADHD. So
Yeah, it's all right. Just relax, okay?
Yeah.
You want some? I got some candy here, bud.
No, I'm not going to accept candy from you.
You're not going to accept a red pill?
Probably not.
Fair enough. A lot of people do, but I'm just saying, like, just, calm down. Just calm your thoughts down a little bit. Let me just go back to what you were saying before about the Bible being written thousands of years ago by man.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that.
Well, you did say that, though.
Well, I believe it was given by God for society thousands of years ago.
Okay.
I believe
And it has no relevance now?
I'm not saying that. I said we need to go to the biblical principles. Look at the message God's sending, especially the message of Jesus Christ. Love your neighbor as yourself and love God.
Okay. What about the Ten Commandments? Are we to uphold those still, or is the law abolished?
I believe the law is not abolished. Jesus said, I'm not here to abolish the law, I'm here to fulfill the law.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So what about the science books that you appease to as authority that you live here? Weren't those books written hundreds of years ago before you were born?
Well, some of them.
Okay.
Depends on the book, I guess.
Did you know that it took, like, I think Einstein or one of the guys who was talking about gravity, like, a couple hundred pages to explain what gravity is, and he still couldn't do it?
Absolutely. I mean, gravity as a concept, we're still figuring out. It's still, we're still on this planet, if that's what you believe. We're still very limited in our understanding of it.
Okay. Do you just stop at Jesus Christ, or do you continue to move forward towards more truth? Because in my opinion, Jesus Christ is the manifestation of the Word, and the Word is truth. So wouldn't you want to continue to seek truth and not just be idle?
Well, that's what I believe. We should seek truth. That's why I support the sciences. That's why I support scientific research and whatnot, because I believe that we need to keep going. Jesus came truths about our lives, but Jesus is not preaching truths about gravity. He's not teaching theories of relativity. That's why we need to delve deeper to figure out how do we apply truth to these other facets of our life.
Yeah, okay. Are you a fairly open-minded person?
I like to think I am.
What if you were offered information that would contradict your worldview? Would you accept information and listen to it with an open mind?
I like to think I would if the evidence was compelling enough.
Okay, I have this right here for you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'd love for
Take a look
you
at
to
this.
take it, and then, you know, maybe I'll see you around.
Absolutely.
What's your name?
Henry.
Joshua.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, my friend. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take a look at this. Red pill. Thank you.
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye. So. All right. Well, I love you, everybody out there. Still just really taken aback from what happened earlier. But, you know, we'll just keep rolling with what we got out here. I'm kind of in where some trees are and whatnot, so I'm trying to avoid the wind. But that's a mission that will have to be continued to persevere through, because I don't think it's going to always happen the way that we want it to. But so I hope you're all doing well out there. Yeah, we've been hitting it out at the lake quite often because some personal things have been going on in my life where this is really just how I need to resolve those things in my life, is just come out here and just do it, and then whatever happens afterwards happens. So I love you guys and gals out there, and I'll just flip the camera over and we'll continue hanging out.